Good evening, call center aspirants. Welcome to your Wednesday habit,
Torch Unplugged.
It is another productive Wednesday evening, and tonight, may nagbabalik. We have Miss Jessa Morta. Hi, Miss Jessa, and welcome back to the program. And of course, joining us for the first time, but definitely not the last, we have Miss Joyce Nakaso. How should I address you? Ate Joyce, Nane Joyce, Tita Joyce?
It's better to say Miss Joyce.
Miss Joyce. Okay, good evening, Miss Joyce.
Good evening, Jasper, and good evening to our dear listeners. It's nice to be back. I would also like to say hi to my friends and to my families. Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. It is indeed a wonderful Wednesday. I would like to say hi to my friends and family.
Truly a lovely evening being surrounded by this lovely ladies. Thank you for also joining us today. It's going to be a fun learning Wednesday again for all of us, most especially for our call center aspirants. Last week, we talked about how to ace an over-the-phone interview, and it was somehow highlighted in our last episode that phone interviews are usually conducted for initial interview and pre-screening purposes. So for this evening, we will move to the second step of the interview process. Do you have any guesses what it is?
Palagay ko, this is the part where interviewers like us focus more on the commitment, job interest, and job knowledge of the applicant.
Yes, and I think this is also the part where most applicants fail the recruitment process, especially when red flags are raised.
Thank you for your input. Well, all of your guesses are right. For this evening, we'll be talking about the final interview and what are the do's and don'ts during this specific process, whether you're having the interview on-site or off-site.
Offsite? What type of final interviews are done offsite nga? Because I believe for entry-level positions or CSR posts, FIs or final interviews are usually done on-site.
Yes, tama, Jessa. But for non-agent posts, like for those applicants who applied for a skill-specific position, final interviews are done off-site. It is usually via Skype, interviews, Microsoft Teams, Segment, not sponsored, pero baka naman.
Nice plug at the charts. Hopefully we'll be heard and we'll have our own sponsors soon. But anyways, regardless of the method and regardless of the position applied, the final interview will gauge the same aspects. The first one will be your commitment. The second is job knowledge and interest. Third will be skill specifics and other non-verbal cues. So for tonight, we will be discussing all of these.
Thank you for all those clarifications, Jess and Joyce. For sure, naliwanagan din ang ating mga aspirants. So, for starters, if you're already for final interview, congratulate yourself for having good communication skills. But do not celebrate just yet, because you still have to undergo the next process, which is a little more difficult than the previous one. So, what to do during final interview? First things first, stay calm, make sure to be believable, stay committed, and do not send mixed signals, just like getting into a relationship. Wag tayo dun sa hindi committed. Pero, kidding aside, let's it's also a must to sound decisive during the final interview, especially when you're talking about your goals and plans.
To expound Jess's point, let me give you an example. One of the common questions during the final interview is, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Common mistake in answering this question is aspirants usually forget to include the BPO job that they are applying for in this timeline. So how do you answer this effectively? I can see myself 5 years from now still working in your company, but I'll be in a team leader position. This way, you are communicating that you have specific career goal in the company without directly saying it, and it is more believable. Kasi nga, may plan ka.
Good point, Ms. Joyce. And allow me to pitch in as well. Jessa mentioned earlier that we need to be decisive. This means we need to avoid using negative words like I guess, I think, I believe, perhaps, and maybe. For example, during the interviewer might go, why should we give you the chance to work with our company? Or simply, why should we hire you? And you, as the applicant, answer, I think or I believe you should hire me because I have the skills that is needed for the job, which is a big no-no. Now, the effective way to answer this is, you can do it this way. You should give me the chance to work with your team because I have, and then you can mention the skill set that you have and also support it by pointing out examples as to when you were able to exercise this specific skill.
And let us not forget that during FI2, aspirants are usually asked if they're amenable to work on regular shift, shifting schedules during weekends and holidays. Response should always be yes. This is because since we are applying for a call center job, it is also assumed that upon sending our application, we are ready to adhere to whatever working arrangement the job and the company requires.
Right. And just like what I said in the previous episodes, we are the ones looking for the job. Therefore, we need to be humble. Kasi nga tayo ang mas nangangailangan instead of thinking na sila ang mas may kailangan sa atin. And also, if you think about it, there are also other people who are more qualified for the job. So when every part of the interview, we need to make the most out of it and put our best foot forward.
Exactly, Jazz. Before anything else, we also must not forget to discuss these very important questions. How much is your expected salary?
Yes, that is one of the vacant question. Go ahead, Joyce, and do the honors of discussing it.
Thanks, Jess. To answer this question effectively, it is always better to give a reasonable range. Like for example, for starters, we need to manage our expectation to only 10,000 to 13,000 a month. And for experienced applicants, we can go a little bit higher to 13,000 to 15,000. But no matter what range you have in mind, make sure it is reasonable and negotiable.
Thank you for pointing that one out, Ms. Joyce. Salary is an important matter to discuss during the final interview because, let's face it, we are working primarily for monetary reasons, but during the interviews, we have to be careful as well. Employers are somewhat like consumers. They will not be purchasing an expensive good or item that will be of no use for them. And another point is that our salary expectation mirrors our job interest. So as freshers, and even for those with experience, we always need to be humble and be open to receive a compensation that is lower than our expected, but is also reasonable because eventually, once you're hired, all of your hard work will eventually pay off.
And also, BPO recruiters is already aware na maraming nag-a-apply sa kanila because of the monetary benefits the industry offers. So, let us not join the bandwagon and let us be more committed to have the job, not the monetary benefits if you'd like to get hired.
I definitely agree, Jessa. So if we want to be a hireable applicant, we must remember the three things Ms. Jessa mentioned earlier. Be humble, be committed, and be confident.
Wow, another fruitful conversation indeed. There are still a lot of things we would like to share, but just like how the saying goes, all good things must come to an end. So that's it for today. Thank you for joining us, aspirants.
And if you have any questions, feel free to contact us through our social media pages. You can see on our screen.
Yes, before we can say goodbye, I would like to invite everyone that this Friday, ESA Davao will be hosting a job fair this Friday, August 22, 12 brother, 2022 in Deca Cabantian, covered court from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Just look for our booth and do not forget to bring your updated resume, vaccination card, and be presentable. I will remind it again, it's August 12, 2022.
We hope to see you there, call center aspirants. And also, if you're looking for a meaningful career or just simply looking for career growth, feel free to visit our website for the different job vacancies we have and allow Torch to be the light to your success. And once again, this has been Jasper,
Joyce,
and Jessa,
Now signing off.
Have a lovely evening, everyone. See you on Friday.
Bye for now.